What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to Gaelic Games Fan TV. It's the 2024 Donegal season preview. I'm joined here by Patrick Sharkey from GA's own media, GA's own podcast to preview the Donegal footballers ahead of the 2024 Championship and National Football League season. First of all, Patrick, how's things? How's yourself? Long time since we had you on. And I suppose the mood, I'd imagine, is pretty good around Donegal with big Jim McGuinness coming back.
There is excitement. Yes, there definitely is. After about 4 months with up in the air of the management situation last year, and then Paddy Carr lasting about 5 or 6 games, and then Adrian are coming for next year. There was certainly a damp squid, for want of a better word. It was quite but I think it's definitely he's coming at the right time and all the rest. Like, he came in probably similar circumstances, maybe a team gone down to Division Two with a lot of quality players there that for one reason or another can't perform. We were knocked out early enough in the first round of qualifiers last time he was coming into the team there, so he's definitely coming in there. But I definitely think my generation, we've grown up at teams that were winning All Irelands, constantly winning Ulster and whatnot. So he's definitely coming in with that idea there. So I don't think he's in it out there, but Jim McGuinness is coming in with those expectations too. I don't think it'll be right away, but there's definitely a long-term objective of bringing Sam back to the Hulls.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I don't think he'd come back if he didn't see an All Ireland as possible. In fairness, like, how do you compare disappointment? Maybe, like, I don't know how young you were, like when Jim McGuinness was first appointed, but in terms of like the first time Jim McGuinness was appointed and now, like, what's the difference, do you think, or what's the feeling like around Donegal if you were to compare the two appointments?
Well, Jim McGuinness, he was coming in on the back of winning the under-21 Ulster with Donegal there, and we got to the final there. We beat Tipperary in the semis there, but we narrowly lost out to Dublin there. But there was always a belief, that he knew all these right players to bring the right movement there. The likes of Michael Murphy, Paddy McGrath's team of all rest there. But that generation is all completely retired now, so he is taking in a completely new generation of players here. So he's obviously there. Paddy Carr gave 9 debutants at the start of the Mechanic Cup. Their last time he's brought in, he had 2 teenagers starting for him the other night in the Mechanic Cup there. So it's definitely bringing a lot of youth there, and he's brought in some more experienced players like Shane O'Donnell and Ryan McHugh have also played in Wednesday night as well. Like, so he's not been around the bush there. So to compare it, I think, in 2010, maybe the only way was upper all the rest. I think the reaction was different, because Donegal were maybe late to the professionalism side of things, drinking bans and whatnot, and all the rest there. There was definitely, that kind of culture and whatnot there. So I think, people were happy to see at the time, that he was taking that in there and all the rest there. And maybe there was a lot of complaining about, going against the whole status of it being an amateur game and all the rest there. So that stuff and all the rest was really well implemented and whatnot. But I think, if it wasn't Jim McGuinness's time, the people would have been upset, regardless. I don't care who you would have. You could have been Jim Gavin, but if you weren't Jim McGuinness, then the people weren't going to get behind you. Suppose that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I suppose, could you have seen it coming though? Because I remember speaking to you a few years ago about Jim McGuinness returning, and it always just seemed like something that people always. It's a bit like Jim Gavin coming back to Dublin, or Jim Gavin coming back to management. I feel like a lot of people always mention it, and Jim McGuinness has been linked with almost every county. In the time that he's left Donegal, he was linked with Mayo. We saw the scenario where he was doing a training session for the Galway footballers. Linked with all sorts of jobs, really. But could you ever have envisaged that he would actually return to Donegal as a manager once again?
Maybe not the sooner whatnot. I don't know. It's really hard to be sure, because he had some management spells, and whatnot, and he struggled as the under-20 manager at Celtic and whatnot, but he went in with Roger Schmidt to China, very experienced former Bayer Leverkusen manager, which came a bit out of the blue, and they actually had them playing good football, in the Asian Champions League spots, and then he he stepped away, obviously China to Donegal and whatnot. It's kind of a big commitment. But then when the States came calling, it was a second division side, Charlotte FC. So we'd won one in 13 games. So, in many ways, they probably, soccer fans in the US probably think of him the same way as, people in England maybe think of Wayne Rooney. But yeah, but look, he's got his pro license, the highest qualification, the UEFA rankings there. But I don't know, like, he's involved and done a bit of work experience with Derry. So he's under 19s, winning about a few youth championships and all the rest. And I've heard, I know players in the team who tell me they'd run through brick walls for him. But I think, there's definitely, they say there's a lot of man management skills and whatnot that he has there. So I don't know. I think he's coming in somewhat with new man management skills and all the rest there. But you know what? He doesn't. He won't forget anything in 2012, 2014 and all the rest there. But it's interesting to see there. And he played quite attacking on Wednesday night, but it's a bit different because that Armagh team were they decided to field an under 20 team. But whatever, we'll move on.
Yeah, like I was going to ask you about, because I know you were at that game, obviously, and it was, as you said, like it was an absolute hammer, and I think it was 315 to 1-6. But when you look at both teams that were fielded, like Donegal, I wouldn't say we're at their absolute strongest. Like I don't think it was their strongest starting 15, but as you said, yeah, it was Armagh's under 20 team and probably a mix of teenagers in there as well. But what did you make of the performance overall, and in terms of the style of play? Like, was it in line with a usual Jim McGuinness style of football, or was it, as you said, like maybe a bit more attacking than expected?
um, yeah, I think maybe there was a bit of no. I think it was definitely a lot more attacking than Jim McGuinness and all the rest there. But you can't play that. You cannot when you play a team like no. I'm sure that some of the Armagh under 20s will go on to have great careers for Armagh, but at this moment in time, you can't play the underdog card. They could have easily done that against your Dublins, your Kerrys, and even your Corks back then. They were able to play that card, and all the rest. But it's different now, like because I don't know. It's just but I think there is definitely an attacking sense, like because best example was young Finbar Rorty, a man who's made his county debut before his club debut at senior. he's he assisted he who was listed as a number two assisted the goal for Michael Langan at the start there. So he's pushing lads in all kinds of positions. But maybe the numbers really mean nothing for Jim McGuinness. Maybe it's just his about putting 15 men on the field and that's it. But they definitely, I think at times that was there, like, but no, I think, they had a lot of men in attack, a lot of men there, but I think sometimes, at times I think that young Armagh team were able to get through the midfield easy enough, and but the fullback line sorted them out, but that one goal they conceded was maybe a little bit sloppy and all the rest there, and definitely Patton goes out a lot more, all the rest, like, he would have been sent to heart attack if Paul O'Durkin tried to try those tricks about 10 years ago and all the rest, like, but so we'll see.
Yeah, like it's interesting, all right, because obviously when Jim McGuinness first came into Donegal, I suppose he was known for. I mean, we saw blanket defenses in Gaelic football before with the likes of Tyrone and their Mickey Hart and Armagh, even to a certain extent, when they won the All Ireland in 2002. But I think like Jim McGuinness nearly just took it to the next level, and it was just more sort of organized. Like I think, as many people like to call it, like organized chaos. And I feel like Gaelic football has nearly gone that way ever since. Like you have more and more teams who've set up more and more like Jim McGuinness's Donegal. And I remember speaking to a few people on the podcast in the last sort of year or so when we were speaking about Jim McGuinness, or even saying like maybe he'll do something different, because at the end of the day, when he came into Gaelic football the first time as a manager, he did something completely different and it worked. Whereas now, almost, the likes of your Derry, Armagh play that way. Like Kerry have their own defensive coach and Paddy Tally. Like Roscommon probably play a little bit like that. Galway played like that last year. So do you think he could? There's a possibility that maybe he does mix it up completely and just sort of surprise us all? Because I think we're all expecting a certain version of Jim McGuinness, and there's a part of me that thinks he might just, I'm not saying it's going to be open, expansive attacking football or
He's
anything like that, but I think it might be something different to what we think.
It'll be a system and all the rest, like before maybe I think Tyrone of the Armagh 2000, before then it was a case of teams just played with freedom, they just played as they wanted, and it was usually just the teams with the better players that ended up winning games, and then they took it there and Jim McGuinness advanced it. But I think just could he expand it? I think he might. I think there was definitely expansive football and all the rest there. So I think he was well able to show it there. So not no doubt about it there. Like, he's not gonna go out. I think depends who they're playing. If it's Dublin Kerry, if we meet them maybe in the championship group or something, I think he might be a little bit cute and he might go back to the whole idea of an RS. But there's a good chance, I think he will play expansive football when it's some RS, because I don't think there's too much to lose. Like we're going into Division Two there, we're the favorite, we are the favorites for it. Our man Cork maybe would be in probably in the same boat. So I think, we can definitely see maybe that angle there. Like, so no, I think there's a lot of football in there. Like, so no, I think, you can only play more expansive football. You cannot get any more defensive than what he done. Like, so I think the option is a lot of expansive football and all the rest there. But no, it's about definitely, look the way he utilized Langan all the rest there. So I think he's kind of getting rid of midfielders. Langan looked like an extra attacker there on Wednesday night there, and whoever was playing number 8, be it whether it was a swap between, Jason McGee and Keelan McGonigal, they were in many ways extra defenders and all the rest. I know Keelan McGonigal did get a point, like, but I definitely think, they're using maybe the more bigger physical players to drop in and whatnot. Like, so I think, you're nearly seeing in many ways, a more attacking but more defensive football, if that makes in any way sense, but less midfield.
Yeah, I suppose maybe a bit more balance maybe to the football. It definitely will be interesting. I'll certainly keeping an eye on, and certainly in the league as well. Just looking back at last year's season overall for Donegal, obviously a disappointing league campaign, like 1 win, a draw, relegated. I think a lot of people expected that before the start of the championship. I remember start of the league. I remember speaking to you like last year, and I think you predicted them to get relegated as well. And then obviously in Ulster, it was a bit of a disappointment as well, like losing to Down, a side he had a fairly decent record against, like prior to that match. And then in the group stages, I suppose you had that good result against Monaghan that propelled you into the qualifiers. Obviously, a win versus Clare as well, and then obviously lost quite comfortably to Tyrone. So, like overall, it probably was a very disappointing season by Donegal standards, and probably did make sense for there to be, well, I suppose multiple changes in management in the end.
Yeah, it was there was always something kind of there, like, I mean, Paddy Carr and Adrian Rourke came in with separate applications and they pulled their resources together, and it seemed like they're getting this lad and every lad, involved in the coaching team and all the rest. So it was definitely, a bit of a last minute, project. But I don't know, like, we still got like 115 against Derry and whatnot. Like, there was signs of stuff and all the rest. There wasn't maybe as much lateral football, you could say, as maybe Declan Boner's time, but at the end of the day, Declan Boner had 13 ones in 16 games in the Ulster Championship and all the rest. Adrian Rourke had a total of 0 in 1 games, so that was maybe a bad record and all the rest. But I think, I didn't predict them to get relegated. I thought they would do enough to survive, but I definitely thought, that Ulster was maybe that little bit out of reach there. I think, maybe Armagh or something I would have said there, but still in all rest, it was the county that invented the penalties that once again were the victim of it. But look, it's just it's definitely, I think, it can only get better in all rest, and the whole academy fall in all rest is good there. But I do want to say, I do want to put on record that maybe the academy, I think there was ambition there, but I don't think it was the right way of doing things. I think there are a lot of people saying, it was listening to some people in national media with the bee's knees at Donegal, but it really wasn't. Before then, there was, it meant that six coaches that went around schools lost their jobs as a result of it, for Carl Lacey to bring in the academy and all the rest there. So for that reason alone, I think, it was wrong there and all the rest there. And I didn't really have actually an interest in Gaelic football until my school's coach came in, told us the training times. I went in, realised I wasn't really a player, but anyways, I stayed on, and I found an interest in this wonderful sport. So yeah, I just don't know about the whole academy thing, like, but still, and the likes of Paddy Carr and all the rest, I think the 9 debutants he brought in that first McKenna Cup game, he's definitely built the foundation of the team there, but tactically, I just don't think it was ever going to work out, and all the rest, and some of the crowds were belittling and all the rest, to say the least.
Yeah, like was there I know it's probably hard to look. I think maybe the only positive maybe was when the season ended for Donegal. But was there any positive that you could take from last year, sort of going into this year, in terms of any new players or any players you think caught the eye last year that could really be integral to Jim McGuinness's team for this year?
Luke McGlynn, great player for Glenfinnan and all the rest, and Keelan McColgan. Both of them can't play McKenna Cup because they have Sigerson commitments. Both of them are great and all the rest there. I think we're good there. Johnny McGrody of Downings and all the rest there. And I definitely think about Paddy, Karen Eden and work as well. What they done was maybe they didn't come in with any club bias or else. Keelan McColgan plays for, Neve Patrick and Muff, who have never, managed to break in and past the junior championship. They've always been a junior team in their history, but he didn't really look past the rest there. So they definitely never had any club bias or anything like that there. And so no doubt about any of that there. He's definitely on that team there. So I'm excited to see what he brings in for the rest of the season. Jim McGuinness there, and I think he'll bring them through there. And the two stars I want to talk about now is the two secondary school students of Sean and Cara, 4 masters, great forward there, and Finn Barrorty, who I mentioned, made his county debut for his what he called club debut for Neve Connell. Same club as McGuinness, but anyways, he was certainly a star of the show there. So I think them two are maybe the two young players you might look for. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Sean Paul Barnett brings them into the under-20 team, but still worth keeping an eye on.
You surprised there was no return of Michael Murphy? I remember that was a lot of people were speaking about that when Jim McGuinness was appointed. Like, it was always maybe a left field one, and the band getting back together and all this type thing. But I suppose it didn't happen in the end. At least we think so, anyway.
Wishful thinking. Well, it really was. Like, I think, I think when a man, Jim McGuinness said himself, the man gave half his life to the Donegal shirt, for the 17 to 34, whatever age he was. So it's definitely something that would be interesting. But no, I don't think. I think his time's done there and all the rest there. You even look at that there. He's probably playing. There's a lot more youngsters with Glen Swoley and all the rest that were making differences and all the rest in the Division 2 thing. All the rest there. He didn't really play much league campaign or rest there. Got a good few points in the championship for Glen Swoley, but I think he made his choice there. And you look at Oisin Gallen is as good as peak Michael Murphy. I'm going to put it out there. I think he is. He's the way he dragged McCool's into that semi-final or rest there this year and all the rest. And you're looking up there like he was absolutely the defenders were treated like mannequins on Wednesday night. I know it's Armagh under 20s and their main team, are pretty, as defenders go, they're quite physical, and that's a very nice way of putting it. But they not there. But I think the team's built around Oisin Gallen, and I don't think Michael Murphy would like the idea of being an impact sub. I think he would nearly feel insulted by that there. But I think the big difference is he's in All Ireland, and a lot of people compare him to Conor McManus, who we may talk about later. Monaghan, he's never won in All Ireland, so there's always that little bit of hope for him and all the rest there. So that's why he's willing to be that impact sub for Monaghan, because he's never got his goals yet, while Michael Murphy has. So I think it's made the right choice there, but I think we'd be capable of doing great things without him regardless. So I think he's a great servant, and I've no doubt within the next 15 years we'll see him in the dugout.
Yeah, no, I think I agree as well. I think he was managing the under-20s. Michael Murphy, wasn't he, a few years ago or something like that? So yeah, he probably will, I'd say, come into management at some point. I'm nearly surprised he wasn't part of the backroom team either. I thought maybe he'd be a good addition to come in as part of the backroom team, but maybe further down the line we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, obviously looking ahead to the league, Division 2. What's how do you feel going into Division 2? It's been a while since Donegal have been in Division 2, but I know the last time we were in Division 2, I think 2019, you actually went on to have a very good season that year. Like, you went on to win Ulster, get to a quarter-final of the All-Ireland, I think, as well, or final.
Yes, it was Super 8. It was Super 8 where we were,
Yeah, so, what's the feeling going into Division 2?
No, you know what? It's definitely, I think every team, and I'm not running down Fermanagh. I think the harshest critics of Fermanagh would be their own teams, but I think there's 7 teams who think they have a chance of going up, and that's one way of putting it. Like, but I'm gonna say it that I think ourselves and Cork are going to go up and all the rest. I think Cork might finish above us in the league just because we've Ulster opponents, so I feel like we're more likely to maybe drop the ball and all the rest there. So I think that's going to be the way it goes. Like, so I think it'll be. But I think in a one-off game in Croke Park we could beat them in the final. So I say I'm putting us and Cork up that pedestal to go and win the Division Two and all the rest. Like, so yeah, that's definitely part of my that would be my predictions there. Just have different league tables written out and all the rest. But no, it's definitely what's there. But no, there's definitely some tough games there. If we finish third or fourth, it wouldn't be disastrous, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I'd still think quality and stuff. If we get everything right, we're going up.
Yeah, because even looking at how strong you went I know it wasn't completely strong like against Armagh, like you weren't probably at your strongest starting 15, but generally, like when you hear all the reports of Jim McGuinness apparently bringing the lads to the mountains and everything else, and doing hill runs at 5 a.m. and everything else, like it sounds like Donegal are going to come out the gate absolutely roaring. And like even looking at the fixtures here, like funny enough, your first game is against Cork at home. Then you've Cavan away, Fermanagh home, Armagh away, Louth home, Kildare away, Meath home. So like you've got 4 home games as well, which is always a benefit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get 4 away and 3 at home, but yeah, like you'd imagine Donegal are going to come out all guns blazing at the start of the league because of what we've seen with Jim McGuinness so far in the year.
No, absolutely there. I definitely think that's one way to say it there. And I know one of the key players I'm aware was had plans, to go out to Dubai on holiday for 2 weeks in November, and Jim McGuinness told him not to do it. So there was definitely, other stuff as well planned there. So he definitely had this plan, since October or September, whatnot, to all this team. So no doubt there. So we're just seeing, glimpses of what is really to come. Like, so definitely he's going all guns blazing there. Like, and no, I'm excited to see what comes and all the rest there. But I think Ulster would obviously be very difficult and all the rest. But I think we're going to beat Derry. In the quarter. I think we're going to beat Derry. In the quarter final there. Like, if it was in Owen Big, I would give Derry the chance there. But anyone who knows their geography knows that I don't want to say Celtic Park's a home ground for us, but for the likes of me, it's closer than Ballybofey. It's like my third closest GA ground here. Like, it's right on the Donegal border. So most of Donegal is closer to Celtic Park than most of County Derry. A lot of the GA strongholds, are way out the other side of Derry. So I don't know, like, so I feel like there'd be a bigger Donegal crowd, and we got very close 2 years ago. We lost the next time. We gave away some solid greens and all the rest. We're going to need to put things right and all the rest. And McGuinness has a good record over Hart, and we got 115 against them in the championship last year. So I think we'll just have that edge on Derry. When we make our way to Celtic Park.
Yeah, like most definitely. Like, and even when you look at the draw in Ulster as well, like you mentioned before, you'll obviously play Derry, and then if you were to come through that, it's either Tyrone, Monaghan, or Cavan. So one of them 3. Like, not to disrespect Cavan, look, they proved us all wrong a couple of years ago, but you probably imagine it'd be one of Tyrone or Monaghan probably in the semi-finals potentially. But yeah, I mean it's some draw in fairness, like to have to come through Derry and then one of Tyrone, Monaghan, or Cavan, like that's you're not on the so-called perceived the easier side of the draw, I suppose.
Yeah, it's going to be tough and all the rest, but I think Calvin have got Stephen O'Neill in the background team there, and Raymond Gallagher, definitely straight from playing the management. They had a different goalkeeper in place the other night, so I don't know what the whole story is, whether he's a player or a manager just yet. But anyways, there he's making the team selection regardless, and I think it's going to be a really, really tough and tight battle there. But I think it could. Tyrone obviously they're on a different 3 year contract and they're not going to be judged for an All Ireland 6 years ago at the end of the contract there. So Fergal Logan and Brian Dooher are definitely going to get their house in order. I think they're definitely building towards something themselves. So I've no doubt about that. But I don't know. I have a wee feeling because Cavan actually have a half decent record against Monaghan in the championship, whatever it is when it comes
Yeah.
to championships. They do have a decent record, so I think they will come through against Monaghan. And I think I'm going to say it. Cavan are going to upset Tyrone, and then Donegal. I think we'll edge Cavan, and I've been edge. I edge. I don't mean absolutely go out and hammer them. I've learnt my stuff, Cavan people. I use a good footballing county. And who knows? You like to see an Ulster final you'd actually get to go to, but no, all the rest there. And from the other side, boy, I think Armagh fans aren't going to be too happy to hear this, but I actually think Down's going to come through that side. I think Conor Laverty's bolting there. The addition of Kieran Mina into the backroom team, that's a massive, massive plus for them. He showed last year with Derry and even under previous managers that he's a shrewd tactician himself. So I think that there all the rest. So no, it's definitely out there. And Donegal v Down final. Who am I? Who am I putting through? I'm gonna give it to Down, right? We'll give it to Down. I think it'd be there. So that's my bold prediction. Down to 1 Ulster. That's gonna definitely corral a few favours there. So I think it's just gonna mean that more to Down, and I don't think Jim McGuinness cares too much for the provincial championship. That's one way of saying it. Just because the provincial championship meant a lot more the first time, it doesn't anymore. At the Down, even if they got promoted to Division 2, they're still not guaranteed their place in All Ireland. And in many ways, them and Meath maybe cruised in many ways to the final. Well, maybe not cruised, but they definitely were quite dominant in all their games. The rest there, and they definitely left the game behind against Meath last time. So I think they'd be definitely raring up to get there. So it's all about they will have that little bit more hunger, and it's just because if we're an established Division 1 team, we're not worrying about the Tailteann Cup, but for the likes of Cavan. If Cavan finished bottom half, we seen with Meath last year how things can go. I think for them and Down, it's definitely all guns blazing all the rest there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that thing peters out.
Wow, yeah, I suppose you're definitely a man for a crazy prediction. I think did you predict Fermanagh to win Ulster last year?
I think there's more substance to the Down one, but.
Yeah, I think the Fermanagh one was definitely a wild one, but the Down one, yeah, who knows? Stranger things have happened. Nobody expected Cavan to win it a couple of years ago when they did. But yeah, you think Down will win the Ulster Championship this year?
Yeah.
There we go. What is the aim then for Donegal, do you think, overall this year? Because as you said, first year Jim McGuinness, I feel like in the first year, not necessarily that the pressure is entirely off, but I feel like the pressure is a little bit off Donegal a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone is looking at obviously your usual suspects for an All Ireland like Dublin, Kerry, Derry are in the equation, and I'm not even too sure many people would put Donegal even get into a semi-final, a quarter-final maybe at best. So what is the objective or the aim for Donegal this season?
Yeah, look, winning Ulster would be nice and all the rest, but as I said, I don't want to say it's a Mickey Mouse competition. It's not that way just yet, but they definitely made the provincial championships insignificant, and I think it was a sacrifice they had to make, in order for Dublin and Kerry and whatnot to get that easy advantage into, the last 8 or whatnot. But I do think it's just, I don't know, it's 10 years since we've got the semi-final, and I think that has to be the aim. Get 2 championship games at Croke Park. And that would be the quarterfinal and semi-final. We're not going to go out of nowhere and win the All Ireland. I'm realistic in that sense. And this is so you look at Kerry won it last year. They'd semi-final losses and final losses, whatnot. To get to that point, they had to learn all the rest. Even Dublin's dominance started maybe with the 2009 and 2010 campaigns where they they had all the potential and whatnot. Like, they definitely feel like they left those championships behind. So that's what built that obviously campaign among other things, and I'd probably say something similar with Tyrone in 2021. So I think that's we're gonna have we're gonna have to maybe lose a semi final, even get a final or whatnot. Like, so I definitely think that's I'm gonna be way there. So that would be my aim. My aim would be pretty simple. Would be, yeah, get back to the semi final. That's of a higher priority than winning the Ulster Championship.
Yeah, and you think it's possible for the Donegal team?
Very, very. We have. Oh no, we have the players to win the All Ireland. All we need is to tick the experience box. And judging by it, teams don't come out of nowhere to win All Ireland. So, sometimes you do see it with provincial championships, but well, even then, and Cavan did lose the final the year before. But you do need an awfully heartbreaking game to win an All Ireland. I think you'd say that about the 2011 semi final. When we definitely didn't really. We're maybe a little bit naive against Dublin in many ways, with some good moments of the game, but just didn't really have the ability to push them over. So you just need that thing to say there. I know it's me. If we won the All Ireland, great, but we have the players to win it, just not the experience. That's what's in there. So it's definitely the aim for 2025. I know you said when Kevin McStay came to Mayo, your prediction was them winning the All Ireland 2025. I won't remember that there. So we'll see now. No, a repeat of the 2012 final. Who knows in 2025? But definitely getting to the semi-finals. And making ourselves there, whatnot. Like, so, it's definitely. I think that's a realistic game. Getting out of Division Two, that goes without saying. I've heard people saying RS like Division Two is great because it can love young players. RS, it's great every few years. Like in 2018, it done good things for us on RS. There, we probably never went as far as we should have in Championship, but definitely getting out of Division Two All Ireland semi final. That's what I would say there. It'd be nice to win Division Two, but wouldn't be the end of the world. If be it Cork or Michael there, whoever comes up with us beat us.
Yeah, it is interesting, all right, because there is a thing like over the last couple of years where teams in Division Two, teams that have been promoted from Division Two or either relegated from Division One, have actually gone on to have good championship seasons. Like Dublin last year, promoted from Division Two, went on to win the All Ireland. Galway the year before, they were promoted from Division Two, reached an All Ireland final. And even you look at Mayo on a couple of occasions when they've been promoted or relegated, they've gone on to reach the final as well. So there does seem to be a bit of a precedent there. In fairness, Jim McGuinness overall and him coming into Donegal, like, do you think he can win the All Ireland in a spell with Donegal? I mean, it's one of them. Like, nobody expected it the first time he came in, because obviously you've only won 2 All Irelands in your entire history, and you'd only won one before he came in. So like, can he do it? I mean, he's been a part of 2 Donegal All Ireland winning teams, one as a player, one as a manager. Can he go and land the county's 3rd one?
Yeah. What do you call an RS there? But yeah, I think there was I was speaking, I once interviewed maybe Kevin Mulhern, the former Donegal, who would have won the under-21 Ulster with Donegal all in 2011 RS, and that's when his first kind of involvement with the county came. And he said when he first came in, no one was really buying into his idea that they could win All Ireland, but 1 or 2 wins, and all of a sudden there was a belief. He gave that belief in RS, and Ryan Bradley, I was reading an interview of him on the 2012 in RS, like, he brought him in the back in the panel after a few years out of it in RS, and he was really, really buying in all these ideas, of we'll win Ulsters and we'll win All Ireland, and that was the whole platform of what he got in there. So players on record have many times said, they'd run through back walls, they buy into it in RS there. So, and by the looks of it, a lot of players have come back, and a lot of players have made sacrifices. A lot of players have really done that there. There's no, and we haven't found this generation's Kevin Cassidy just yet, but we I've got I definitely think players have all bought into Norris there, and as they can see, but they can see with the example who Kevin Cassidy, who at the time was our best player, was probably that little bit ahead of a young Michael Murphy, was quickly dropped without much hesitation. Well, there was a lot of hesitation in the press, but within the camp there wasn't. So I think they know what's expected of them. Jim McGuinness knows what to expect of them and all the rest there. So it's definitely part of a wider in there. So absolutely, winning the, I think he's on a 3 year contract, so 3 years goes without winning R, and it is a failure. Make no mistake about it. It's 2025. I do think is the most realistic time, and all the rest there. But we have to be very realistic and realistic. We don't have enough experience at the later stages of the All Irelands with this group to win it this year. But we need maybe a bad loss on us, and that probably might factor into who I think is going to win the All Ireland.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, and I suppose maybe that leads us on to the next point. I mean, who does win the All Ireland? Do you think this year, in your opinion?
The team of heart in it. I think if Derry fans haven't switched off from what I said earlier, for the 1 or 2 years still listening, I do think it's your time to win, Sam. I've been on about teams who've been through the routes and all the rest and whatnot, but I think even though Benny Heron's gone, I do think all the mainstays have stayed on. Chrissy McKaig's given another year and all the rest. And a lot of your players are in the 25 to 30 category. There's not too many young players. Owen McAvoy's good and all the rest there. He's definitely brought through some young lads, Mickey Hart, but some of them might go play under 20s and all the rest. So it's hit the right high notes and stuff. And Mickey Hart was never a man for provincial championships. He loved the back door and stuff all the rest there. And the idea of where as Mickey Graham said, it's harder to get out of the championship than stay out of it. I think Mickey Hart is the right man for Derry at this time and all the rest. Look at what he's done in life. He's built Tyrone never in All Ireland. He left with 3 of them, so he's definitely pretty well respected and all the rest there. And he actually wanted to stay on in 2021 because he felt like there was one All Ireland left in them, and he was probably proven right. So I do think they're going to win the All Ireland there, Norris, and he's brought Gavin Devon with him, well respected. And they're going to ride off into the. And I think Mickey Hart might leave it then, and I think there's definitely a strong case for him to be the greatest Gaelic football manager of all time if he wins the All Ireland with Derry this year. I think that's the right way of going there. He's not coming into a team that needs to be rebuilt and all the rest, and all the rest, and he's brought a lot of Derry club men and whatnot and experience with Slaughtneil. So yeah, I'm gonna have to back Mickey Hart to win All Ireland number 4 for him and All Ireland number 2 for Derry.
There we go. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely possible. All right, I think Derry are definitely in the conversation in terms of Dublin, Kerry, Derry. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Derry did win it. I think there's a statistic as well where every time Mickey Hart's either joined the county, like someone's won an All Ireland in their or joined their left, someone's won an All Ireland in their first season. In terms of he joined Tyrone first year in his management, they won the All Ireland. He left Tyrone, then won it in their first season. So either Louth are winning the All Ireland or Derry are winning the All Ireland.
Yeah. I've written down. On the topic of Louth, I've written down Louth as my Tailteann Cup winners because just the way things are going and whatnot. But just I thought they've on the bottom half and maybe the Tailteann Cup and all the rest. And judging by the way Cork and Kerry are on the one side of Munster, they'll probably fall into. I still think they'll stay up in the division, but they'll fall into the Tailteann Cup bracket, maybe similar to Beef last year. So yeah, that's another thing for Louth. That counts as an All Ireland, but I don't know. Maybe Sam for Louth. Who knows? They've 4 All Irelands. Which is 4 times more than Derry. So we'll see.
There we go. Yeah. I suppose that leads me on then. You're in terms of surprise package. You think Louth win the Tailteann Cup? Anyone else you think might cause a few upsets or surprises along the way?
I don't know. I mean, I've all my kind of league predictions done out. I think Dublin to win Division 1. Mayo gave the league too much focus last year, peaked early, so them and Roscommon to go down. I think Armagh and Meath go down because Meath know their place at the top table secured this year, which is obviously going to cycle out. But like Westmeath, they done really nothing in Division 3 last year, so I think that's a similar situation there. I think down in Antrim get promoted from Division 3. I think Antrim got close there, and I've obviously high expectations of down and all the rest there. So, not so I won't have to buy a pint if I find myself in Uri. But Offaly and Clare, I think are going to get relegated from Division 3 because Clare have had 11 people step aside. That's horrible. They've them rebuild. they nearly beat Dublin last year. They were a series. I was very surprised to see them go down last year from Division Two. I think there was years where they were definitely pushing to the top half of Division Two, but with 11 people stepping down, new management team, it's all going to fall apart, isn't it? It's sad, but it's those counties, where you have about 4 or 5 stars, and maybe not that much squad depth. Things can really hit the fan quick enough there, and that's what's really happened there. And I think awfully they've had too many near misses recently to maybe, I don't know. I just don't think they've done a lot there. I've had what do you call it, whatnot, but yeah, I've had David Dempsey on my own podcast a few times, but he's a nice lad and all that, and the Offaly team seem like good lads, but I don't know if they'll come down or there. And yeah, so for Division 4 at Tipperary going straight back up, like they still have some of the 2020 monster teams on there. They still have much stronger squads their opponents there. And second of all, I'm going to go with, and this is surprising considering they didn't win a single game last year, but I think I'm going to go with London to go up because they've had a 50% change in their team, and these aren't some young lads coming in from London. A lot of them are players they've imported, maybe fringe players over counties coming in. 4 of them be Donegal lads, One lad, Kieran Dever, great footballer as well. One of them, so. Yeah, absolutely. So I think they have a lot of, I don't know who's funding it or what's the story, but they have a lot of all of a sudden maybe players from higher counties in the top 2 divisions coming in their team there. So I think they'll go through and they'll make a difference there. And yeah, and before we go, maybe the provincial championships are maybe interesting enough. I think Galway are winning Connacht again, maybe beating Roscommon in the final. I think that would maybe be way there. And all the rest. And Leinster, wonder who that's going to be. I actually think.
Yeah, be careful with that one.
I actually I think, if you're going to beat Dublin, Kildare almost beat Dublin last year. If you're going to beat them, it won't be in the Leinster final because Leinster final Dublin is as good as All Ireland final Dublin, and they're absolutely team based. And some of the score lines are absolutely, it's really does. But whatever, I think I think in the quarter final, if Meath beat Longford, they're in Navan in the quarter final against Dublin.
Yeah.
That's the way it's scheduled because it's an away trip to Longford and whatnot. So on. If they keep their calm and don't slip up to Longford of all counties, I think Meath are going to do it this year. I think Dublin aren't going to care about the Leinster Championship. I never thought I'd say it, but I think being in Navan, if it was the other way around, if it was in a Croke Park game with 5,000 people in attendance in an 80,000 stadium, I'd be saying well probably it's another easy dub for Dublin. But I think Colm Burke said he's going to knock them off the perch, but I think under this circumstances, he might do it there. But I think Dublin could still, get to an All-Ireland final against Derry in this theoretical future universe I am creating. So I think Meath are going to maybe upset Dublin and Leicester there, and I think, they probably, them or Kildare, maybe them, I'm going to say them, maybe to win. Also, I would only be them or Kildare, I think, would have the chance of maybe knocking out Dublin like that there. I'm just judging by that Kildare game last year that they have the talents to exploit it there. I know it's a controversial take.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I think it'd be music to the ears of any Meath fans who are maybe listening to this. I don't know about that one now, Patrick. I don't know about Meath beating Dublin. I don't know if I can get behind that, but I mean, look, it will be in Navan to be fair. So but then again, I mean, when Meath played Dublin in the league this year in Navan, everyone was expecting Meath to give us a right good go, and it was actually probably one of our easiest league games of the year, considering that was actually a stage when we were quite vulnerable. But the All Ireland, then you're going with Derry, you said,
yeah, and I mean Munster's still maybe the left out one there, so I'll give that a wrong if people really care about the opinion of a Donegal man on the Munster Championship. But I think Waterford are going to take advantage of maybe tip because they have given them shocks in the past. Like, so I think there will be that one, maybe minor shock won't be the world's biggest shock. And they take advantage of a Clare team on their knees. I think they'll make the shock because they're on the blessing to get on the right side of the final there. And I think Cork to upset Kerry. What will I say it there? Part of me wants to, but part of me doesn't want to be stupid. I'm gonna say Kerry to absolutely hammer Waterford in that final. So yeah, that's I think I've had enough shock predictions for today. I don't think if I could mix in Cork and Meath winning their provincial championships, I think there'd be men and white coats coming for me behind me. But yeah,
Yeah. No, look, some bold predictions in there. All right, like Meath beating Dublin, I think is definitely one that's gonna interest some of the viewers. No doubt about that. And Waterford getting to a Munster final, I think, is an interesting one. And I heard you say Armagh getting relegated from Division 2 as well. Like, considering they were in Division 1 last year, Ulster finalists, do you think they're going straight down to Division 3?
I just don't feel like they're one of those teams. They had a certain point, but I just don't see where the progress is. Are they hiding something from another 20 thing? I don't know. Like, but we'll see with them. I think they're definitely out there. I think I actually said Meath, and I think I actually said Meath and Fermanagh because Meath
Oh, did you?
didn't have.
Maybe you did
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
did.
But I don't think Armagh's going up, but I don't think they're going down to Division 3. I do want to say, whatnot like, but still they're not that bad there. But if they do go down, then maybe I don't know. I could have capitalized on that shock prediction, but I don't know. I said Meath and Fermanagh, but who knows? I was freaking from Dublin there, so there's a bit of a halfway house between me and Meath.
True. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. In fairness, in terms of big players for Donegal and your prediction for Donegal overall this year, like how do you think, if you were to predict Donegal's season right here, right now, and predict what players you think will have the biggest impact or be the best players for Donegal, essentially, who do you think they'll be?
Uh, as in well-established players, if we're not talking about young players, so Oisín Gallen, Michael Langan. I've already said Oisín Gallen is, as good as Murphy was 10 years ago. So I take no saying there that he absolutely the way he just runs and he's so much grace in the pitch and all that. It's like he honestly, like, there's games last year where he getting well by Norris, but once Oisín Gallen came back, I think that was maybe the big factor of Norris. He was just coming in, and he was doing all the hard work and stuff on Norris, and it's just he's an absolutely spectacular footballer to watch and all the rest. And I think, he's probably, I think he's in a very exclusive, club of maybe top quality for full forwards. So the other two free in that category are David Clifford, Samuel Roy, and Shane McGuigan. I think he's on. I think he's probably in an exclusive four with them and top full forwards and all the rest. Like, so I'm definitely excited about that. All the rest. Like, so obviously, I did Finbar and Sean and Carr. Good young lads. Yes, but no, they definitely looked good and all the rest here. And I was excited to see what Keelan McColgan looked really good in that lost down there. Out of very few positives taking that game there. So I think he'll get a starting spot in RS. And I think Connor O'Donnell has injury problems, but if he can stay injury free, then I think he's certainly good enough to get an All-Star.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and I think Oisín Gallen, in fairness, I think he could be definitely a bet for an All-Star, because I remember last year, sort of when Donegal did go on a run of form, beating Monaghan obviously in the group stages, and then the performance against Tyrone as well, even against Derry as well. I thought he was very good. So Oisín Gallen to get an All-Star could very well happen.
Yeah. He got nominated last year, but I think they can absolutely get done in RS. I think if Donegal get the same in RS, he'll be the main lad. So they'll definitely give him an All-Star in RS there. So no, I've no doubt about Oisín Gallen and his potential and all the rest there. But it's just making sure the right things go there. He had injury problems in the past there, but even he's always went above expectations whenever he's been put on the pitch there. So I don't think he's ever once had a performance. Every player's are bad days, but I haven't seen him have a bad performance for Donegal yet. So on all the rest, so Hopefully, if we get the All Ireland, hopefully he doesn't pull that trick then. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So overall, then you're going promotion from Division 2 and semi-final. There we go. We go. Some interesting predictions. All right, there. I suppose before we finish up, then your own show, the GA Zone podcast. Where can people check it out, find it, or what's your plans with it for this year?
You can find Spotify and Facebook and RS there. So yeah, that's definitely an idea there. Spotify, we do Facebook Lives and RS. Maybe I might get the bigger plan of StreamYard to get maybe on more platforms like YouTube and stuff there. But don't know, like it's kind of started as a passion project during COVID and stuff like. But now we're out of COVID and RS, like, and I kind of like to get out of the house more. So I might do like more vox pops or stuff and whatnot, or I might meet a few guests and all the rest. I don't know, that would be some great and RS. So I want to try and alter it somehow. I don't know how I'm going to alter it, but I'm going to definitely try and maybe alter it all. So I want to try and do it. But yeah, it's a bit wishful thinking because I've guessed all over the country and I live in the far north corner of Donegal, never mind Ireland. So it could be difficult enough, but we'll see what comes.
100%. Well, yeah, I suppose anyone who tuned in, make sure to check it out. And yeah, anyone who tuned into the stream, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, let us know in the comments down below. How do you think Donegal will get on this season? And we will speak to you all